Hello and welcome to the Leader Circle. This is Allyse Sedivy, and today we're going to be talking about branding yourself. Now, this is a topic I absolutely love and something that I actually use on a daily basis. Years ago when people used to ask me, Allyse, how do you do it? Or how have you become successful? How have you grown so fast? I remember I used to tell them, well, I just do what you do. I contact, I follow up, I help people get started. It's not rocket science. I just am really, really consistent. And the more that I thought about this answer, the more I realized that I really do have something special that I do, something that has been probably the reason why I've been more successful than anything else. And we're going to talk about it today. But first, I want to tell you a story about the Civil War. Now, we're all familiar with the Civil War. The North fought against the South. Father fought against son. If you were to look back right now at the history books, many of us would think that, possibly the North was always winning the war because the North eventually won. Well, that wasn't the case at all. In fact, the South had a bigger army. It had better leaders, and the South was definitely winning the war. And then one day it all changed. So the South was actually going through this field, and one of the leaders had a message that he was supposed to deliver, and this message was wrapped around 2 cigars. And he dropped this message. He dropped it in the field, and they searched all over, couldn't find it, finally moved on. Well, the North went through that same field about 2 days later, and one of the foot soldiers noticed this message wrapped around 2 cigars and picked it up and was stoked to find it and opened up the message, and it was called Special Order 191. Now, Special Order 191 was basically a list of all of the South's battle plans, every place they would be, exactly the strategy behind the battle, and what date it was. So they took this back, of course, to the North leaders, and they studied it, and they decided that they were going to have faith that this was truly their battle plans, right? The very next battle was the Battle of Antietam, the bloodiest battle that was fought here in the States. Thousands of men died, thousands more were wounded, but the North won. And the North won because they were prepared and they knew exactly the battle that was going to happen. Well, after that, every single battle the North was prepared for because they knew ahead of time. And this was the beginning to the end of the Civil War. And it changed American history. So my question to you is, what if there was one thing that could change the course of your entire business? What if there was one thing that could make the biggest difference for you to be successful? Well, actually there is, and that one thing has changed the course of my business. So let's talk really quickly about natural strengths. I believe in using your natural strengths to achieve success. All too often, our natural strengths go untapped. We devote more time focusing on our shortcomings than leading with our strengths. When I was a little girl in high school, I took a typing class and hated it. And I decided at a very young age that typing was overrated, that it wasn't really important, and that I probably wouldn't use it very much in my adult life. And to my chagrin, when I got to college, I found out that I couldn't hand in any handwritten assignments. In fact, everything needed to be typed. So what I did every day is I went to the student lounge and the student center, and I actually paid someone every day to type out my homework assignments. It was pretty expensive, but I got through it, right? And then when I started business, I actually hired people to type for me, to do computers for me, to email for me, to do everything that I decided that I wasn't good at and that I didn't like, right? In fact, it wasn't until several years ago that I actually started emailing. Email to me seemed too hard. and I didn't understand computers. I didn't even really know how to turn one on. So I know what you're thinking to yourself. How in the world did Allyse become successful in doTERRA and become more than a presidential diamond without even knowing how to email? Or, I've never done a PowerPoint. I've never, I don't know Excel. I've never, in fact, this one might kill you. I was a presidential diamond. Me and my husband work together, and we have very separate roles. He does a lot of the back office stuff. I do a lot of the recruiting and presenting. And I remember he was out of the country, and it was like 11:55 at night, the night of ranking, right? The last day of the month. And he asked me to put somebody into the back office. He said, you need to sign these people up, go into the back office. And I realized at that moment, I don't know how to sign someone up in the back office. And I freaked out for a minute. And I actually called Emily Wright at 11, like really late, almost midnight. And she picked up the phone and I said, Emily, I need your help. I don't know how to sign somebody up in the back office. And I need you to show me how to do it. And she goes, Allyse, are you serious? I'm like, Emily, don't tell anyone. And she said, oh, no. This is way too good for me not to tell people. So my question to you is, do you use your natural strengths, or do we spend all of our time focusing on what we don't do well? Where would I be right now in my business if I spent all the years in doTERRA thinking to myself, I've got to be good at computers. I've got to learn how to type. I need to learn Excel. I have to be proficient in PowerPoint and all these things. I really don't think I'd be very far, because that's not what I do well. So focusing on what we do well and focusing on making what comes naturally to us awesome is really, really what has set me apart, and it's what will set you apart. Now, when you ask the question, what do I do best, right? What do I really do well? If you were to come to a meeting with me, a one-on-one, right, after somebody is introduced to the oils and I'm getting ready for them to join my team, this is what you would hear. I would look at them in the eyes and I would say, with all the confidence in the world, let me tell you what I do best. I'm one of the most creative people you will ever meet. That's what my brain naturally does. It's like a puzzle piece, and I try to put puzzles together. I love it. I love to solve problems. That's why my leaders have success, because any problem that we have, I will go over it, I will go around it, I will punch through it. I will make sure that we win and that we get it done and we figure it out. I am really creative, and I can't wait to start this business with you. Now, after I say that to somebody, they usually walk away with a feeling like, oh my goodness, I need to be with Allyse. I need to sign up with her. I need to have her in my life. I need to access that ability that Allyse has to be creative. Now, when I'm sitting with that, business builder or somebody that's interested in the product, and I change it a little bit with the product, I don't say to them, but, if you're expecting emails back, I wouldn't count on that. Or, I really can't do a PowerPoint, so you're going to have to try somebody else for that. Or, I can't type worth beans, so I don't even talk about those things, because guess what? It doesn't matter. All they know is that I'm really, really creative, and this is going to really benefit them in the business, and that's enough. My natural strengths are enough for someone to have confidence. And the best part is this: I can deliver on that promise every day of my life, because it's what comes easy to me. I don't have to be anyone else to be successful in this business. I just have to be the best me. So what we're going to do today is we're going to identify your personal brand, right? We're going to identify what you do best and basically get so concrete with this that your brand becomes so powerful that people think to themselves, boy, I just have to be with you. I want to build with you, or I want to use this product. I want you to lead me. So step one is to identifying your personal brand is, we're going to identify and list your top 5 strengths. For example, you could be outgoing or creative. You could be organized, a natural leader. How about a great listener? That's an incredible strength. Detail-oriented, persuasive, loyal, reliable. Maybe you're a great presenter, determined, or caring. So what I want you to do is go ahead and pause this webinar, and I want you to actually get out your piece of paper and brand yourself. In fact, at the part of this webinar, it comes with a document, a couple of pages on branding yourself, and you can actually fill out this worksheet. So go ahead and start writing down everything that you feel like you do well. Now, when we actually write down what we do well, I want you to actually just list it right here in strength number 1, strength number 2, strength number 3, strength number 4, and strength number 5. And once again, you'll find a worksheet that's attached to this webinar that's called Branding Yourself. And you know what? It's really interesting. Some people really struggle with this part. So if you're having difficulty answering these questions, right, and identifying your strengths, I want you to ask yourself the following questions. Number 1, how would people describe you? Number 2, what comes naturally to you? And what are you passionate about? You know, I remember I was in Canada and I was doing a branding yourself exercise with several people, and 2 of them, they were a couple. And I remember the wife kept looking over at her husband's sheet and saying, "Why are you writing that? You're not good at that." And I was like, "Shh, hush, let him do what he needs to do." And then she was like, "I cannot believe you're writing this down. You are not good at that." Finally, I literally had to say to her, "If you don't stop, I'm going to make you go to the next room, because maybe why he's not good at these things is because you nag him all the time." So this has nothing to do with what your husband thinks or what your friends think. It has to do with what you know are your natural strengths, right? So go ahead and finish that exercise and write down your natural strengths. And we're going to focus just a little bit right now on product users, okay? We're going to focus on product users just for a minute. And I want you to now ask yourself the question, this is step 2, how will each of your natural strengths listed above benefit product users? So for example, if I'm creative, well, one thing about being creative for product users is I'm able to find solutions to difficult health problems, right? So this is a really positive thing for product users. I don't give up. I will keep looking and searching, and I'm creative in my solutions for them. So for a product user, I'm really a benefit. What comes naturally for me really benefits them. So now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go through your 5 strengths. And if you need to pause, the webinar for a minute, you can absolutely do this. But go through each of your strengths and write down, okay, strength number 1, this is what I do best. And how is that a benefit for product users? For example, right? If you say, I'm a great listener. Well, the benefit for product users is I listen so well to them that I find out what really is the problem, and I have an easier time helping them solve it, right? Or if you're organized, right? Well, my strength is I'm really organized. I wish that was my strength, but if it was, right? If I was really organized, maybe the benefit to a product user might be I can give them a step-by-step way of using the oils morning, midday, and evening, and also purchasing them in the most efficient way to get the most money back for the most benefit for them. They don't have to guess at anything. I have a very organized way of them using the product. And that's an incredible benefit for any product user. So go ahead and list all of your strengths and then write how they benefit just a product user. We're focusing on product users. And if you need to, you can go ahead and pause this webinar. Okay, moving on. Now what I want you to do is I want you to actually circle the 2 strengths that you feel would be most beneficial for product users here. Now I know this is kind of like giving away children, and I don't mean it to be painful, but let me tell you why. If I sat down with somebody and I said to them, hey, I'm really creative. But I'm not just creative. I'm also a really hard worker. I never give up. But not just that. I'm really generous, and I'll give my shirt off. I'll give the shirt off my back to anybody. And not only that, I'm really, really good at talking to people. And not only that, I can present. That, after a while, seems really cocky and really arrogant, and it doesn't go over well. But when we concentrate on just one or two strengths, it's really powerful. And it really creates an amazing brand for us that people want to follow and be a part of and be around. So go ahead and circle the two strengths that you feel like will most benefit product users. That will most benefit product users. So for example, if you said, hey, I'm really great at math, or I'm a great presenter, or I'm great at listening, and I'm a good mother, you might want to pick, well, presenter and I'm a great listener, because those will most benefit product users, right? All right, let's move forward. Okay, now what I want you to do is I actually want you to think about all of these things that we've been talking about, and we're going to just change our focus just a little bit, okay? We're changing our focus now to business builders, and how we talk to a product user is very different than how we talk to a business builder, right? So with a product user, I'm going to brand myself much differently than I brand myself with a business builder. I'm going to talk about product and healing and a lot more things with product. With business, I'm going to talk about meeting my goals and moving forward and knowing business. So anyway, let's focus right now on how each of your natural strengths that are listed above, that you've already written down, will benefit sharers or business builders. So once again, here's my example. I'm creative. The benefit to a sharer or a business builder is I'm able to figure out unique ways of finding new prospects for them. So this is a really great benefit for business builders, right? I never hit a wall with, oh my gosh, I've run out of people to talk to, or I don't know who I can talk to anymore. Well, let's figure out a creative way of finding new people. So what I want you to do once again is I want you to go through and I want you to list all of your strengths one more time, 1 through 5, and write the benefit, how it helps specifically sharers or business builders. So I'm going to give you some examples. If someone's outgoing, how does that help a business builder? Well, being outgoing, let's say that's one of my strengths. I would make everyone feel at ease, and I'm able to connect with anyone, no matter if they're young or old, or no matter if, whatever economic profile they have. And because I can connect with people, I'm able to get them interested in sharing or doing the business with me. All right, that's one example. How about my strength is that I'm really great at business. That comes naturally for me, right? So I would say, you know what? I'm really able to figure out a business plan for everyone that comes into my business. I'm able to lay out a 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day plan that's very organized and will get them from the beginning of their business to when they reach ranks. That's an incredible benefit for people, right? So what I want you to do now is go ahead and write out the benefit of each of your 5 strengths. But just remember to change this, because it's going to be a little bit different for sharers and business builders than it was for product users. And if you need to, go ahead and pause this webinar. Okay, so once again, moving forward, now what you're going to do is you're going to circle the 2 strengths that you feel like best or benefit sharers and business builders the most. And it might not be the same 2 strengths that you circled for product users, right? So maybe that you're really great at math is really an amazing benefit for business builders and for sharers, because you understand the compensation, you know exactly where to place people in your organization, and you're really good at placing the least amount of people for the most amount of profit. And so maybe the fact that you're great at math is the strength that you're going to circle here, and it wasn't the strength that you circled as a product user. All right? So I want you to really think about this and write it down and be thoughtful in all of your in everything you're doing, because this is going to be super, super important for you. I actually use my brand at least 3 or 4 times a day. And it has been powerful. I mean, thousands of times, not just with doTERRA, but just in my life have I used my brand. So now I want you to write a script to communicate with your product users how they will benefit by working with you, right? So I'm going to give you an example. As for someone that's creative, right? I'm really creative. And if I were sitting in front of a product user after a class, after they understand the oils, and I'm trying to get them signed up for a kit, I would say, I'm really excited to start this essential oil journey with you. And one of the things that I bring to the table is I'm really creative, which means that I love helping people solve their health issues. Not only will I love to help you solve your health issues, but also your friends and your family. And I'm creative, so I won't stop. I will keep searching things out until we find something that's natural, that works for you, and that will change your life. I just can't wait to get started with you. So something like that for me has been really, really powerful for product users. They think to themselves, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I need. And I feel comfortable starting to use essential oils with Allyse, because she's going to make sure that I figure out the answers to my problems, right? There's a lot of different scripts that you can use. And there's a lot of different things there's a lot of different ways that we can benefit product users. Now, I want to talk for just a minute about why we use a script and why it's so important. When we actually write something down and memorize it, when we're in that moment with a product user, we don't have to think about what we're going to say. All we do is rehearse our script, and then because we don't have to think about what we're going to say, we can think about how we're going to personalize it to the person in front of us. And it becomes natural, it becomes genuine and powerful. In fact, somebody could wake me up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and say, literally, Allyse, how could you help me use essential oils? Why should I start using essential oils with you? And I would just say my script in the middle of the night because I know it so well, right? It has really, really benefited me to have a script. So I want you to take some time, write out a script. And if you'd like to do it right now and pause the webinar, go ahead and do it. And don't worry, the first script that you write won't be your perfected script. You'll get better and better and better at it, and until it becomes so you, so natural, and it literally just flows out of your mouth when you're in that moment. Okay, moving forward, after you've taken some time to write, I want you to also write a script to communicate with sharers or business builders how they will benefit by working with you. So I've already told you earlier, but once again, for me, because I'm creative, I would say something like, I can't wait to start this business with you. I'm probably one of the most creative people you will ever meet. And because of that creativity, my mind naturally loves to solve problems. My mind loves to take a problem that you're having or one of my other leaders are having and overcome it. In fact, when we hit a problem, I figure out ways to go around it, above it, under it, sometimes punch through it, but we will win. And we always meet our goals together because I will find a creative way for us to do that. I can't wait to get started in this business together. So for you, your business script will be a little bit different and it will be just as powerful. So if you need to pause just for a minute and write out your script, and it will get better and better with time, do that. Because in the moment where you're there with a sharer or a business builder and they're deciding, should I do this business or not? This is when you bring out your brand and it becomes powerful. And you don't have to think about it because you've already memorized a script. Now, I want to tell you just a couple of stories about just some experiences I've had with other people's brands, right? So I remember I was on a call with my brother, and my brother lives up in Canada, and he does doTERRA. And I need to tell you just a little bit about my brother before before you understand his brand. So he was born with severe dyslexia. And it wasn't until his late teens that he actually learned how to read. And this caused a lot of problems in his life. He felt dumb. He got put in special classes. People made fun of him. And because of this, one of his greatest fears was being asked to speak publicly. So basically, he developed a skill. He developed a talent that I haven't seen in anyone quite like my brother. He decided at a very young age he would never, ever, ever make anyone feel stupid because he spent his whole childhood feeling stupid. So he literally treats the garbage man the same way that he treats a CEO of a company. He treats everyone amazing. And everyone feels like $1,000,000 around my brother. So he has more friends than I even have acquaintances. He can move literally into a brand new town, and within weeks, he's the most popular person there. People are coming over to his house to visit. His friend or his kids all have friends. Everyone loves him. I mean, he really is amazing with relationships and with people. He's had the same friends since he was in elementary school because he's devoted to his friends. So I remember he called me up one day and he said, Allyse, I'm so frustrated. I'm never going to do the business like you. I'm never going to be as creative as you, and I'm never going to be as good of a business builder. And he was really frustrated. And I said, Josh, the only difference between me and between you is that I know how to brand my strengths and you don't. He said, what do you mean by that? And I said, Josh, I know how to brand what I'm good at. You don't know how to brand what you're good at. And he's like, Allyse, could you brand me? And I said, yeah. If I were you and if I had your amazing qualities, this is what I would say to someone who is thinking about getting involved with a business. I would look at them and say, this business is all about relationships. Everything rises and sets on relationships. One of the things that I do best is I keep relationships. I love people. I love listening to people. I love talking to people. I love understanding people. When you become a friend of mine, you become a friend for the rest of your life. Not only will you be a business partner, but you will be my lifetime friend. And we will develop a family setting in your business that will not only attract you, but attract hundreds and hundreds of people, hundreds of leaders in your business. And I will help you with those relationships, keeping them good and keeping them safe and wanting people to be around you. You have just got a friend for the rest of your life. And I can't wait to get to know you better. After I said that to him on the phone, he actually started to cry. And he said, Allyse, that's exactly what I am. And I said, I know. And he said, I can do that. And I said, I know. And so he actually went out and he started branding himself and became much, much more powerful, not only in business, but also in product, because he used what came naturally to him that he knew that he could perform on every single day. I'm going to give you one other example, okay? A friend of mine named Lynn. Lynn was a diamond in doTERRA, and one day she came over to my house, sat on my steps, and was really frustrated. She actually started to cry and said, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated with the business. I'm frustrated with how it's working. I feel like I'm not signing up people. I just don't know if I'm ever going to be as good as you or brand heavy. Now, one of the things in this business is we can never be like anybody else, right? If we try to be like someone else, well, we can't. We don't have their same strengths. So we can never compare ourselves to someone else. So she was right. She could never be me or Brianne Hovey because she was Lynn. And I remember looking at Lynn and saying, Lynn, what do you do best? And she said, well, nothing that's really good with the business. I'm like, no, Lynn, just tell me what you do best. And she said, well, okay. One of the things I do best is I'm a really balanced individual. I'm really good at balancing my life, my business, and my kids. So my kids don't resent my business at all. I'm a great mom. I never miss important moments in their life. At the same time, I'm a diamond in doTERRA. I remember my mouth just dropping and saying, Lynn, do you know how powerful that is? Do you know that I've been struggling with that for all of my life? And I would love someone to teach me how to be more balanced with my family life and with business. Lynn, this is a powerful brand. So if I sat down with a business builder, this is what I would tell them. I would brand yourself in this way. And I would say, I believe that we have all parts of our life that need to be nurtured and that our business is not the only part. We have our family, we have our personal life, we have what we need to do for ourselves and our business. One of the things that I do best is I'm a balanced individual. I've been doing that my whole life. And I know how to teach other people how to be balanced. So you never have to resent or regret the years that you missed in your kids' lives or in your relationships. At the same time, building a very powerful, successful doTERRA business. You'll be happy in every aspect of your life, and I can teach you how to do that. I can't wait to get started doing this business with you. That is a powerful brand. It would attract thousands of people to Lynn. So she actually decided to go home, write down her brand, and script it out, right? And then practice it. A few weeks later, she called me back and she said, Allyse, it works. I've been trying to close a few people for a long time, and I used this brand, and they all of a sudden decided to come on board and start doing the business with me. And I said, I know it works because your strengths are powerful. In fact, your strengths are enough. You can use your natural strengths to achieve success. You don't have to be someone else. You are enough. One of the coolest things about this business is that we don't build this business by ourselves. We have upline, we have downline, we have sidelines to help us, and we all have different strengths. So when I need help with computers or technical things, I call other people and they help me. And when they need help with creativity, I can help them. We use all of our strengths to build the business together. And that's one of the beautiful parts about doTERRA. So what I'm talking about, branding yourself, will become your special order 191. It will be the one thing that will make the difference between whether you're successful or not. It will change your business future. So use it, hone it, get good at this. And the coolest thing is, guess what? You're already good at it. This is just what you do best. So let me give you a challenge this week. For the people that are in the part-time program, I want you to go ahead and fill out your branding yourself worksheet. And then practice your script with 3 people this week. It could be product or business people, but 3 people this week actually practice your script with. For people that are going for it, I want you to fill out the branding yourself worksheet. I want you to practice your script with 3 people this week. And I also want you to teach 3 people in your organization about branding yourself and help them fill out their own branding themselves worksheets. This is something that I do with my leaders all the time. I like to find out what their natural strengths are, how we can brand them so they can be more powerful, right, in their business. Thanks for being with me today and have a great week.